these certain filmmakers that we've always grown up watching or have been inspired by. It gave me a lot of confidence, knowing that I'm going to be mentored by Aamir sir and I'm going to be looked after by him. They're very confident about what they make. And they're not trying to compare themselves.
So, hello, dosto. Welcome to the Bollywood talk show on IWMBuzz. This is your host, Shubhajit. It gives me immense happiness, pleasure, joy, and a lot of other emotions flowing in all at the same time to welcome this lovely gentleman over here on the show. The very dashing, the very good-looking Naga Chaitanya. Sir, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. How are you?
Wonderful. I have to start with this point that when the screening in Hyderabad happened, I think there were a lot of emotions, there were a lot of tears because some of the most legendary people have admired the movie, and I think that's where the tweets also came from. So when your body of work gets appreciated from people whom you have always looked upon to a great extent as well, and that to such an impactful work, how does it feel? Does it give you an entire sense of joy or accomplishment?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sitting in that room with that combination of people, I think was something I never imagined, from Rajmouli sir to Sukumar sir, Chiranjeevi sir and Dad, all of them being there and watching your work means a lot. Because at the end of the day, it's that acceptance and that criticism you want from, these certain filmmakers that we've always grown up watching or have been inspired by. So their feedback comes, whether it's good or bad, it means a lot more to you. And and end of the day, you just take yourself to people who mean a lot to you. You want them to appreciate you. So it was such a lovely movie.
Yeah. I have to ask you this as well, that whenever you work, because you're a humongous name in the southern industry. Right now, of course, you're going to be making impact and sending shockwaves here as well. But at the end of the day, you as an actor realize the fact that there are other actors like Aamir Khan and Kareena Kapoor who have been there for like so long. So how much security does an actor need, when it comes to his own craft, to ensure कि हाँ मैं काम करूँगा इसमें, and I'll still ensure that I don't get overshadowed by the other two superstars? How much security does an actor need over that?
Firstly, it gave me a lot of security that I was coming into Bollywood with an Aamir Khan film, because I know how much attention Aamir sir gives. He's called a perfectionist.
For a reason.
Yeah, for a reason. And he makes sure in all his films, he makes sure not only his role, but everyone around him and every department shines. And I truly believe that only when, that whole synergy comes together and when every aspect of the film shines, does the film turn out to be a blockbuster. There are many films that I've personally been in where my work I've gotten good appreciation for my work, but the film has not worked. At the end of the day, that you're still not completely satisfied. So coming into Bollywood, coming into this market that's got a tsunami of talented stars that have already been accepted by the audience, it gave me a lot of confidence, knowing that I'm going to be mentored by Aamir sir and I'm going to be looked after by him. So I felt it was the right way to come in, actually, more than being insecure. I felt it was the right way to come in. And having said that, after Advait narrated the script to me, even though my character is not completely present through the screenplay, the essence, my purpose travels with the film, which sort of really touched me. So it was, all in all, it worked, it worked in my favor in every way.
I'm pretty sure, you being mentored by someone like Aamir Khan, I think it couldn't really get better when you were starting in your initial days. Did he share any interesting stories from his own initial days? Because I think he has also struggled a long way. So did he share any interesting maybe advice for you going forward in the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. There was so much advice that I observed. It's not advice. He's a person, he loves to share stories. He loves conversation. And if there's a listener, and if there's someone contributing in the right way, the conversations can go on and on. I remember this Kargil schedule we did. We were there for almost 40 to 45 days and the location was about 2 hours away. Every day in the car, we would go together. He would, talk to me. We would have breakfast in the car. He would play his favorite songs. He would share stories about all his past films, which, are priceless, because I think those stories those experiences have taught me so much. And as an actor, I've come out of that film with so much more confidence. with so much more balance in my thinking. So yeah, those moments will be with me forever.
I have to ask you this. When a film releases, and of course it might have diverse opinions, people might have different opinions about it, some might like it, some might not like it, but I personally feel it's very unfair when any kind of movie or any content gets bashed before it has been seen. When the trailer came, I think there was a lot of trolling around the movie, or because of the fact that it is an adaptation of something that we have already seen. I'm talking about Laal Singh Chaddha.
For Laal Singh, acha, okay, fine, yes.
Very good because of that, because I think at the end of the day, it's like your first Bollywood movie, so it definitely has a different emotion attached to it.
Yeah, see, I've experienced this on a very smaller scale before for one of my films also, which I was saying, Prema. But yeah, whenever anyone picks up a classic, a film like Forrest Gump, that's been a reference point for moviegoers, for movie makers, for all kinds of people. Obviously, the first reaction is going to be sort of is not going to be the best reaction, because and I don't blame the audience for that, but where all being quiet, and where I was not affected by it also was because I've been in the film, I've heard the script out. They have only taken the framework, they have only taken the sort of screenplay, and they've adapted it so beautifully to various events that have happened in Indian history, and that have really truly affected Indians in many ways. And those events cannot be remade from anywhere else in the world. They are very, very specific to our region. And the characters have been redesigned completely. And the stories, in fact, Kareena ma'am's track and Aamir sir's love story has been completely redesigned. So I can confidently say that people will walk in, knowing it's a Forrest Gump remake, but they're going to walk out watching a completely different film, and they're going to forget the original in the right way, with the right context by the time they walk out from it.
I think exactly that's what I was going to mention, that perhaps you were not hurt, touchwood, because of the confidence that you bring in with the fact that what the content is, and therefore you are sure about the fact that देखने के बाद audience को वैसा नहीं लगेगा.
Yeah, as a team, we were all traveling together, and we were so in tune with the script that I don't think this honestly affected much of them, because everyone knew what they were making, and they're very confident about what they're making, and they're not trying to compare themselves in any way with the original. We know that because we've seen the footage.
Correct.
There's absolutely no resemblance in terms of the content, the writing.
Wonderful. I want to ask you this right now. Everybody's talking about this humongous South wave. I think it's always been there. I personally believe, actors from this down south have worked here in Hindi. Actors from Hindi as well have also worked in down south. The likes of Anil Kapoor sir and all. So many other people. So this blend has always been there. But अभी जाके बहुत ज़्यादा बात इसके बारे में हो रहा है, for all the right reasons, of course, because we've seen some fantastic movies from your region working wonderfully well. अभी Vijay Deverakonda is coming with Liger. You are coming with this. How do you see this blend happening, and has it been long due? Because I personally think it's been long due. What's your opinion on that?
See, honestly, like you said, it's always been there. Yeah, it's just that now that exposure, you guys are getting to know about it, getting to know about the work we're doing down south, because of the OTT platforms, because of YouTube, because of the internet. Our work is being showcased. We're getting a larger exposure right now. So going forward, I feel the language barrier is going to blur. Language is not a problem anymore. People are happy watching with subtitles or dubbing. It is the content that's going to actually speak, and whether it's north, south, east, west, wherever the cinema is coming from, whoever is going to be making the content that is most universally accepted by a larger section of the audience is going to win finally. So I think we're becoming one as Indian cinema, which is great, which is because it just gives us so much more avenue to try out different things, to really push the barrier, and not only in India but to pitch us in the entire world, on a much bigger scale.
I think that's why it's called Indian entertainment industry for a reason, and not just any regional or any Hindi film industry, so to say. Last question, if I have to ask you, that of course you're making this grand debut in Bollywood with this movie. I'm sure you have some interesting names of directors in your to-do list when it comes to working in the future. So if I have to ask you the next 3 directors that you would want to work with.
The next few directors I want to work with, there's a huge list. Meaning there's so many Bollywood directors that I like. From the recent ones, Zoya Akhtar, Ayan Mukherjee, Rohit Shetty's films are very, very close to South films in terms of the texture, but I love the way he presents them. I think Anurag Kashyap, I've really grown up with some of his earlier films. I'm a huge fan of. The real cults for me. So these are some of the names, to pick a few, but the list is never ending.
It will never end, and I hope that it never ends, because there's so much to do, and I believe you will. One last thing that I need to add, you mentioned about the directors. Any interesting Hindi movie that recently literally blew your mind, maybe because of the performance or because of the story?
Recent ones, as in from this year, last year?
The last Hindi movie that you really, really enjoyed in terms of content, acting, everything.
In terms of couple of actors I've really been enjoying is Pankaj Tripathi sir and Manoj Bajpayee. I've been really loving the kind of roles they do. As characters, I've been sort of, more than watching films as a whole, I've been sort of trying to track a few actors who I can get inspiration from, pick up, some cues from. And these are the 2 actors that really have been catching my attention.
Well, if you're following these actors, I'm pretty sure you're going in the right direction. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us over here. It's a pleasure. Wishing you all the best for your Bollywood debut, and I hope that we can do many more interactions like these in person, and I can meet you in person and greet you for all the good work that you will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.